I can start very easily. From a sustainability perspective, this is where he is often criticized for pushing his people really hard, for putting the same standards to his employees as he puts them himself. He sleeps on the floor to get things done, and he, like a Steve Jobs attitude towards work and achievements. But I would also say that he's in the same way, he's this visionary leader, of course, which draws a lot of A people to his company. So he managed to pull that off in a sense, and you can also see that he's not cold-hearted, definitely not, and he often does very innovative things to open up his supercharging network when there's a catastrophe or anything happens. So I think he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde there. He combines being kind of the tough guy that doesn't tolerate mistakes or super performance, but at the same time he is also very human in his leadership style. But that's from an outside perspective and how we talk about him in the sustainability community.
Actually, I have to protest there. He doesn't sleep on the floor anymore because we at the Tesla Club Sweden we have bought him a sofa. Yes, there is a sofa in Fremont factory that has a little plaquette on it from Tesla Club Sweden to Elon Musk, and he sleeps on that one nowadays. But his management style is unique, and I think there's a bigger problem with public relations, that everything is channeled through his tweets. And that's another problem we have with Tesla. That when I talk to Tesla employees here in Sweden and ask them questions, they say we have no idea of anything until Elon tweets, and they read the tweets. And I think every time Elon says something, there is this middle management who just can't believe his ears. What is he saying now? How can we do it that fast? And that's his way of management, of having extremely difficult goals. If you aim for the sky, you will reach the clouds at least. So everything is moving extremely fast in Tesla, but it seems slow because Elon's plans are always too many, too fast.
If I can just add, I think you have to recognize that Elon has I think leadership is a difficult concept to define, but I think Elon is a tremendous leader. And one of the things he does is he leads by example, and it's very rare to have companies like the companies he runs where the people running the companies understand the engineering at every level. And his ability to go to any part of any company he runs and engage in a serious conversation about how are we doing this. And sometimes he's wrong and he accepts when somebody knows more than him, but he's able to get into the finer points of just about, which is stunning that he's able to do this. But that is huge. And then I think that somebody brought up public relations, and I think I would say the public relations concept is difficult. I am aware that there are highly ranked employees at Tesla who do speak with at least social media people, and they are available to answer questions to social media people. I don't know whether they interact with regular media. The practical reality is, at least in the United States, the regular media is so anti-Tesla that the only purpose of a PR department is to give more ammunition for the media to tell bad stories, to twist whatever Tesla says to make it look worse. So.
Yeah, and I sum up with, I think it would be very hard to find a owner of a company that knows so much of every detail in the company's little screw or some software or hardware. So I think he's gaining a lot of respect of lots of people in-house, and that's why you know, if I think lots of you have seen Elon Musk's presentations on Battery Day and every stockholder meetings and something, he knows everything. He doesn't get a slide and tells the slides. He knows it, and that's why respect for him in the employees, and that's why he can be hard, and perhaps someone doesn't like it, but he knows why he going through hell sometimes to get there, and that's many people doesn't like that, but he doesn't do it for fun. He do it because he wants to. He has to. He says he has to.
So maybe I add here something to that. First of all, I want to second what Warren just said, and you said, which is absolutely true. So he's an engineer by heart, and he knows the things inside out on a level that most people even have a problem to comprehend. And if I say most people, I'm talking about internal experts within Tesla. So he has really, he has a knowledge. He's kind of, and I'm not over exaggerating here, kind of overlooking things in a way other people have a problem with. Yeah, that's number one. Number two, I would like, I mean, I personally don't understand the critical voices about Elon Musk at all. Yeah, I mean, everybody who's criticizing him should think about why Tesla is where they are today. There's a reason for that, and this is that man. I mean, he brought a team together and he achieved something nobody ever is coming even near to or close to. So do you want to have a VW or a BMW or you name it, you Ford or behavior in front of, you know, first of all, the media, and secondly, achieving BEV goals and sustainable goals like that? I mean, there's a reason why Tesla is that successful and why the entire industry is trying to get after. When I made my presentation here 2 hours ago, Warren, you haven't heard that. I've said that within VW, there is, people are angry against Herbert Diess because every day he talks about Elon Musk and Tesla. And not only one time. I mean, this guy, they complain about that. They can't hear it anymore because every top management meeting, it's again the old story about, well, Tesla's doing that and software and blah, blah, blah. So they can't hear it anymore. And the reason is simple. Obviously, Elon Musk is doing something right. He's not conventional in his behavior. He's himself saying he's an Asperger, and I believe he is, but that's not something bad. Actually, it's something positive. And the things he is saying in the media channels that are reflected from the media should not be, you know, over exaggerated. I mean, he's sometimes joking around. He's just a character, and I think we shouldn't, you know, take him responsible for all the nitty-gritty details here.
Thank you. Question.
Yeah, it's Tesla has where Tesla seems to be heading, where they're disrupting so many areas of the world. So you have the energy, you have the communications with SpaceX, and so disrupting oil, everything. So being disrupting all those markets, that when you take into consideration that whole global area, that starts to be more powerful than governments, and I can't seem to wrap my head around. What do you guys think about when Tesla becomes so overpowering in every aspect of our world? Being what we've discussed about Elon, of course, that's great. That is, I think it's a very fantastic person, and he's doing a good job. But what happens when he passes on, and if somebody takes over that doesn't have such pure intentions, and then when one company like that has so much power everywhere, what has the feeling been, or what have the governments kind of said about that, or what are you guys' opinions on that?
I would just say that I think the notion of Tesla being powerful, Tesla's not going to have nuclear weapons, probably. Tesla does not have millions of soldiers with guns. I think we tend. So I'm sorry. This is not coming from the Tesla thing alone. This is I tend to be libertarian. I tend to be skeptical of government. Governments have tremendous power, and I think Sweden's been better about this, but much of the world has seen the power of government taking away massive amounts of freedom. Tesla isn't going to do anything that takes away people's freedom. Tesla is going to expand people's freedom by making it lower cost transportation. And if you don't want to ride in a robotaxi and you want to own an old internal combustion engine vehicle, the only one that's going to stop you is government. So if you're concerned that Tesla's going to have all this power because the government's going to ban internal combustion engine vehicles, well, then the problem isn't Tesla, the problem is government.
So my answer to all people questioning what's going to happen when Elon is not around anymore is very simple. Nothing. It's the same like today, because the most parts of the organizations already run by managers Elon had, hired before. There's tremendous smart people in the organization who are managing all and everything. I mean, we all know how many companies he founded and he's responsible for. Don't believe that he is doing every detail. That doesn't work. He has the skill to select what is really of critical strategic importance for the future. And he's involving himself and sometimes firing people because he believes they stand in the way. But the organization would just prosper and continue like they are today. They wouldn't break down. Obviously, some decisions in the future would go in another direction, but the overall course of the organization is very well defined. In terms of government, just close your eyes a second and think about what's going to happen or would have happened without Tesla. Nothing. I mean, we all know that we wouldn't have a fraction of the BEVs on the road we have today, and it's still a fraction of that what we need to have to bring this world into a better position. We in Germany here, we are underwater. I mean, friends of mine have lost their apartment, are looking for their house, looking for a place where they can stay with their kids. And this has to do with climate change. And governments have talk all the time. They didn't do anything. So, and, without Tesla, all the other organizations wouldn't do what they do today. So sorry if I praise, Tesla here all the time, but at the end of the day, facing the reality, governments have failed big time. And I'm not talking about the last 10 years, talking actually about the last 50 years. So it's a big miss, and I think we should hold them responsible for that.
I would also add that you are talking about Tesla, but Elon is managing Tesla only on Mondays, Tuesdays, and sometimes Wednesdays. He also has another company, SpaceX, and SpaceX has disrupted the rocket industry the same way Tesla has disrupted the car industry. And the rocket industry is mostly run by the weapons industry in USA and Russia. And actually he was very concerned, his family was very concerned about Russian assassination attempts against him, because the weapons industry doesn't want to get the rocket sales taken away from them. Because what happened with electric cars, the same thing has happened with the space rockets, that 10-15 years ago it was the USA and Russia and Europe that sent satellites to orbit. And now most of the satellites are sent by SpaceX.
I'm a bit more moderate here. I think that when Elon chooses to do something else or disappears or moves to Mars or whatever, they will have a kind of a Steve Jobs moment there where they will have to think about things and probably think about how to succeed him. I also think that they are not really disruptive in any areas they ever go into, and if they grow too large, they will end up with problems like Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft have. They will start to fight governments more and put more into legal and do those hard things that large companies have to do, break them up, different markets, so whatever. I think that they will move probably into the Apple moment of going into the ecosystem there, because they're not always excelling in power walls, in batteries, in solar roof. But if they put all the things together, that must be something where they can be unique in a sense that complexity is. It's hard to disrupt all technologies, but the overall combined experience is where they could probably be unique. So I think that is a move that they might start to think about as well.
I don't know, everyone has heard about the companies Zip2 and PayPal. He disappeared from that many years ago, and the company is still living. But I don't know, but I think within 8 years, he's not gonna be in charge of Tesla anymore. I think before 2030, he's gone from Tesla and concentrate everything on SpaceX, because that's his passion, truly passion. And he starts SpaceX before Tesla, and that's his childhood dream. So I don't think Tesla would end 2029 because Elon disappeared. But of course, the same speed perhaps wouldn't be, but I think he has managed to raise up the energy and the thoughts for in the company to keep on doing the changes and keep on doing the speed for innovation and everything like that. But to know about the governments and what they are thinking about the companies getting too large on planet Earth, I don't see that. I don't know, but perhaps. Any more questions?
I just want to add, I think he will leave space. He will leave Tesla as early as 2026 or 2027, I think. Yeah. Not leave completely, but he will basically massively cut his time at Tesla down because he won't be needed. I think he will shift to SpaceX and Neuralink. I don't think Boring Company is going to need that much of his time ever, but Neuralink is also a really important passion for Elon. And I think both SpaceX, I think SpaceX and Neuralink both, the Mars mission in particular, and Neuralink to help us get ready for the future of artificial general intelligence are what he's going to focus the rest of his time on.
Thank you.
Do you see any new field that Elon or the Tesla company will go into some other area in the near future?
Alex?
So actually, I need to smile here because I was thinking about that before. So if you look at the character from Elon Musk, he is a true innovator. So if you press the right button, it just pours out of him in terms of ideas and thoughts and how to solve an issue. And I believe that actually, yes, he may retreat from his CEO role at Tesla and focus on a couple of other things. But I believe he will open up 2 or 3 other things in the future too. And one I could imagine is electric planes. He's thinking about that since a long time. And with every year passing by, we have more technology available to make that happen. Other companies are already stepping in here. So I could imagine that he's doing here something. We will see. We also know that his passion is, is houses, so air condition and, a lot of other things around that. I could imagine that he's expanding in this area too. And there are maybe, new areas we don't even think about. What I can't imagine is that he's scaling back his his brain power, and he's just enjoying life a little bit more. He's probably going to continue work like hell until he's dying one day. I don't know, or he's getting ill, or at a late stage. We never know. But his personality is inventing and making the world a better place, and that is just a part of his personality and DNA. And he will do and work his ass off for the rest of his life to make it happen, be it going to Mars, and then that's it. But it could also be other areas.
I also think that we have been mentioning Tesla's mission here today, the shift towards sustainable energy. But what they haven't done yet is to actually take the full step to go and be an energy company, utility company, in that sense that they aggregate what will be needed here. And when we think about the supercharger network, for example, there will be a lot of need for power. Not only, I mean, we can make it. We have the kilowatt hours for it, but the kilowatt and the megawatt and the gigawatt, that will be something that Tesla would like to start to put all those pieces of the puzzle together and go into more like a traditional or a new digital energy company. I think that would be interesting to see.
I would just add boats, shipping of some sort. He's mentioned shipping before. I think that's a possibility, but I'm not sure. I actually think it's really hard to make batteries work in a shipping environment. But Elon said it. I think he thinks it's more viable than airplanes. I don't know what his plan is, but I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, agree. I think you, Warren, talked about robotaxis, and lots of people here laughed. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be in tire business in 6 years or something like that, because tires is going to be robotaxis' most expensive costs in the long run, and that he has going to talk about. He has talked about that sometimes for a couple of years ago, and then planes, of course, but robots. He have mentioned Boston Dynamics several times, and he's like them a lot. And I think some merge or some up, he's gonna buy it, because now Honda, I think it's owning them, and I think some robots in 6, 7, 8 years, I think.
Well, I think just to add to that, he hates and he loves it, because he's hating it because it's kind of defense industry, if you will, that is developing that, and that's a threat for humanity. So that's why he works with bringing this chip into the brain and making us cyborgs to a certain extent. So I believe that this is a huge and big field again for him to get started more and developing more. I believe actually his lifespan is too short for all what he wants to achieve. So happy to see a lot of kids in his family. Don't know if they all take over, but this is more 100 years what he's targeting than a normal lifespan of a human.
Let me just add something. First of all, I agree with Alex on housing, by the way, but I just want to add what Alex just said. I don't think it's fair for us to expect Elon to advance humanity. I don't think it's fair to put that on his children. I think we have an obligation to what I call be like Elon. That Elon made all this money and he didn't go buy a yacht and sit on the back of the yacht. Like Alex said, he just needs to work, he needs to invent, he needs to make things better. And if you made a lot of money on Tesla stock, then I think you have a moral obligation to be like, you don't have to. Moral obligation's probably pushing it. But if enough of us say, you know what, I'm not Elon, but I can do a little bit of what Elon did in this area that I see where there's some potential to improve something around me. Maybe what you're going to do isn't global. Maybe what you're going to do is local. But if 1,000 of us each do 1,000th of what Elon does, then we're replacing Elon when Elon goes. And if 10,000 of us do 1,000th of what Elon does, then we've created 10 Elons. So I think we have to look in ourselves to say, what can I do to invest my money and my time to make the world a better place too?
I think, Warren, you ended that evening, because that was good said. So let's round it up, and a big applause to Tibor, Andreas, Warren, and Alex. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.